Welcome to QCC's Face the Region. Face the Region is produced by Quinsigamond Community College to assist our region in attaining educational, economic, and personal prosperity. Good morning and welcome once again to Face the Region here on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN. I'm Zip Zipfel, and today visiting with Iko Abercrombie, who is the Associate Director of Admissions here at QCC. You're a regular visitor to the program, I understand.
Yes, I watch you guys all the time, or listening in. Thank you for having me today.
Great, I'm glad you're here. So we're approaching intersession and then the spring semester, so you must be pretty busy right at the moment.
Yes, we are, Zip. We are in the midst of also accepting for the future term as well at the high school for fall of 18. But currently we have a lot of students that are coming in for winter sessions. They get accelerated classes, and classes start January the 5th area, just right around after New Year. And then we also have classes start for the spring semester January 17th.
Now, can students apply for admission? How far out from a projected start date can they actually apply, or is it usually just the immediate oncoming semester?
They can start right away. We have students apply early as August for the next fall, and then we communicate to them the enrollment steps. We also
so a year out then?
Yes, they can
more
do
or
a
less?
year out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And again, looking for the intersession now. So, tell me a bit about some of the services your department provides for QCC students.
In the admissions office, we help them with navigating the college, pretty much, how to enroll into the college and how to be accepted into a program. Also available services, how we can direct them and guide them through the enrollment process.
What are some of the biggest challenges students seem to find in that admissions? Is it daunting to some folks applying for school? Some
students find that they don't know where to start, so they're a little bit lost, so they usually wander into our office and then we guide them. Some students are already seasoned students. I mean, they've already been to other colleges. Now they want to pick up a class or two because they heard of QCCs around the neighborhood here. And we have also students, or older students, who are looking to re-careering as well. So we have all walks of life come to the admissions office. The daunting part, I would say, financial reasons usually for the majority of the students, trying to figure out how they're going to finance for the college. Right. And their educational goals.
Right. Now, is that something that I know there's a financial aid department as well here at QCC, but do you guys assist in that aspect of it?
So admissions do not really do the financial aid application. We have workshop. We refer a student to go to the financial aid help center. Every walk-in Wednesday, students are allowed to come in to walk in, no appointments, 8 to 4 p.m. They can go to the Financial Aid Help Center and get assistance to apply to the federal government assistance program.
Right. And when they come in initially, do a lot of folks, can they apply online as well?
Yes. So the online application is free for QCC and it's 24/7. Student can wake up at 3 a.m. And decide to go to college. We welcome them to put
Has that happen on a regular basis?
We do get application over the weekends at the
An impulse decision, just
yes.
I'm going to college starting tomorrow.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, that's great. And in the initial process, if somebody was coming in to apply in person, what do they need to bring? Their transcripts, or do they have to take tests? How does that all work?
Yes, good question, Zip. Basically for admissions, if you want to apply into a program, we ask them to bring at least a high school diploma or transcript, either or they might have a GED or high set, or they also have a foreign high school documents. They can bring that as well. We have a lot of refugees here in Worcester, so we get a lot of foreign students from finishing the completion of the high school outside the United States.
Does that become a challenge?
No.
No?
No, as long as most of the time it's in English or it's be translated to English, we are open access. Community college is open access. We believe in that. We try to help our students eliminating the obstacle to go to get a college degree. So we try to make it as easy as possible, guide them on how to get the proper documents so that we can accept them and guide them and hopefully help them reach their goals.
Sure. Now, on the when you refer to transcripts and the paperwork per se, are there electronic versions of those you accept? Or are they hard printed copies?
We do both. Here in admissions, we even being flexible as long you have a high school document, you can take a picture with your smartphone or tablet as long as it's clear enough, and then email to the admissions office, and we can print it out and process them and link it to your record.
Right, and as far as placement is concerned, do you require SAT or ACT scores, or?
No, QCC do not require that, and that's another open access. We try and make it easy for students. We do have a college placement test, which is just a measurement test. It's not passing or failing. Just say, where are you in math and where are you in English classes? So give the advisor, who are the people who to register you for classes,
Sure.
a guideline where to put you in the right proper classes. And if you are college students from elsewhere and you're thinking coming to QCC, whether to get a certificate or degree or just taking one class to be a guest student, you just bring your unofficial college transcript and we can see if you meet the requirements. You might not need to test.
Right, so and that's all part of that open access approach to come to QCC. Is that different than other schools? Are some schools tighter on the paperwork and admissions processes?
Well, community college across the Massachusetts, we are under that guideline jurisdiction is open access. All you need is a high school diploma if you plan to get into a program of study or completion of a high school equivalency of the high school diploma. Other colleges, private colleges, they require essays, SAT or ACT score at a certain level, so the additional screening, the 4 years have additional selective admissions. Here at QCC, we are open access. There's not much of a selective except for the healthcare programs. We have a little bit more requirements on that, but the majority student can be starting QCC fairly easy.
Great, great. And I would imagine too, are students surprised to find that out when, in other words, how easy it is to apply?
The one that never been to college or not familiar, yes, they're like, wow, this is actually easier than I anticipated, or I didn't know that it's only take about 3 steps. You apply, you either test or you bring in your college transcript, and then you wait till the date for open registration, you sign up for classes, and then go classes.
That's great. That's excellent. Just, and again, I think it's indicative of the way the staff here, the instructors, and the whole process, really, they reach out to the community to encourage students to come to school here.
We have a great supporting staff here, a lot of service from disabilities to transfer office to even the testing center providing study guides to help. We have the tutoring area here with math and writing, as well as general subjects. The library services here are wonderful to support the student to get the materials for the education. As well, all the faculty are very caring to make sure the student will be successful while they're here.
Excellent, excellent. We're chatting with Iko Abercrombie, who is the Associate Director of Admissions, here on this edition of Face the Region, which will continue in just a minute after our first break here on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Stay with us. Welcome back to Face the Region here on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN, where every week we find out all the great things that are happening on the various campuses of QCC as far as the students, non-traditional students, and faculty and staff as well. We're talking today with Iko Abercrombie, who is the Associate Director of Admissions. And as we approach the intercession and, of course, spring semester, I'm sure you're more than busy these days.
Very busy. Classes starting January 2nd for intercession. I want to correct myself earlier. I said January 5th, but it's really January 2nd. And then our spring classes start January 17th. So it runs all the way to May. So we are very busy trying to get everybody in, make sure they get financial aid filled out and application filled out, and provide the documents so we can accept them as soon as we can.
Great. Now, the intercession, tell me a bit about that. Is that a concentrated short form, or what happens during
it's more
intersession?
accelerated is the best term to use it. It's short, accelerated. Sometimes it runs for 2 weeks or 1 month long before we start a spring semester. So students who are falling behind, or they decide to do a jump start to get accelerated and do fast to finish the degree, they can get an English class out of the way, or psychology class out of the way, or math even out of the way within the next 2 weeks to 4 weeks. But they go to school every day of those 2 weeks.
So they go to school. So in other words, you take a semester's worth of curriculum and
Cram it in 2 weeks period, yes.
And they still all have their hair left at the end of it? I mean, it sounds like it's challenging, is it?
For those who are determined and driven, they actually excel. They do great, and they can make the grades. Yeah.
Well, again, I think that's another one of the greatest aspects about QCC, and the way they've set up the classes. So for people who have jobs and kids and single moms and single parents, they have that ability to work ways around their schedules to get their degrees and certificates in such a really quick way.
Yes. So we have classes during the day. Of course, there's usually a lot of high school students in that. We also have a lot of classes in the afternoons, all the way to 10 o'clock. So student can, and then flexibility is that you get to design. I always tell the student, you design that class schedule. If you sign up early enough, you can select, I can go Tuesday, Thursday nights, and I don't have to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday like traditionally you would. Or you can take a Saturday class or a Sunday class or an online class where you can be home and go online that 24 hours when your kids are in bed, and then you can do your homework when it's more some peace and quiet.
Sure. So can you actually take the entire intersession online too?
There are some classes that are designed. You have to look at the schedule and work closely with Academic Advising Center. The advisor will guide you and let you know what are the options. Some majors you can do purely online. Other majors it is 50% online, 50% in person.
Right. And I understand too that the online courses are every bit as interactive and challenging as the in-class sessions.
Yes, online it's a lot more independent study, meaning you have to put a little bit of effort, but they are a lot of, with technology, we put a lot of videos into them and also a lot of aids in there to help the student understand the content of the class. So the professor also stay in contact with the student to make sure they're getting the help that they need whenever they need the support online. Sometimes the student forget that there's a download of a video that they need to click in, and so they email or call the professor, and the professor will connect them and make sure they catch up.
So, and I've always kind of been curious about this. So in a typical online session, do they log in and are they seeing, is it in real time, or do you know what I mean? Or is it mostly just like a text and?
The online program is called Blackboard. It's a login feature, so it's not real time, but it's the information content of the classroom is loaded onto there. But email is usually a professor let them know the office hours, so the student can always email the professor, or there's follow-up to be done. Some classes are called hybrid, meaning you have part of it is online, the other classes is going to be maybe meet one night a week on campus in a physical building or location.
Right, so there's not like a little chat figure in the corner of the screen that you can ask questions of, or?
I don't know that feature yet because I'm
sure
not the professor,
exists.
so some professors are looking to move in that direction, but not every classes are designed in that particular mode. Yeah.
But as far as online classes, QCC is right up there with the other colleges in the area as far as curriculum.
We try to be as competitive and use the latest technology to help make sure meet the student demands and needs. We know everybody's busy, especially working families, but they still have goals to reach, and they want to get a degree and complete a degree or move forward and transfer out. So we try to be with technology changes, Chat line is another area, but Blackboard has a lot of new features. Some professors do create a lot of learning outcomes and learning videos to help the students who are online learners.
Right. As far as non-traditional students, folks that are in the workplace, or as we mentioned earlier, single parents, or all manner of demands on their time and schedules, do they find the QCC curriculums every bit as challenging as like a full-time student?
Curriculum-wise, we are very competitive. Our credits do transfer out to other universities, not here, only in Massachusetts, from public to private institutions. But also, I always tell students, we are regionally accredited, so it transfer even out to Texas, Florida, California, wherever you plan to go is regionally accredited. Do English 101, 102, all those core classes is transferable. So for students who are non-traditional and have family, we have flexibility in the schedule where there might be learners who meet one night a week and they can take one class at a time. They don't have to tackle 5 classes in one semester. They can have family and work and life and school balances by going to QCC. It might take them a little bit longer, but they will get there eventually, and they still get those degrees to transfer out to other universities to complete the bachelor's.
So in other words, they don't necessarily have to finish these courses, chronologically in succession. They can take their time.
Yeah, there's some flexibility built in that they can take this course for this semester, next semester take another. We also year-round, so classes not only intersession, we have summer classes, so we open pretty much year-round. The student can catch up or accelerate like the intersession, or if they fall behind, they can repeat a class if needed. Right. To help them be successful and complete that certificate or that degree.
Boy, flexibility is certainly the key word there. We're chatting with Aiko Abercrombie, who is the Associate Director of Admissions, talking about the admissions process here at QCC, and we will continue to do so in just a couple of minutes, taking another break here on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN. You are listening and watching Face the Region. Welcome back to Face the Region here on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN, or perhaps you're watching us on many of the cable access TV stations around the greater Worcester area. We're glad you're with us, and hopefully join us every week as we find out more about the great stuff happening here at QCC. Perhaps great stuff isn't the right term, the great things and visionary items that happen here at QCC on a regular basis. Chatting with Aiko Abercrombie, the Associate Director of Admissions here. We've talked a lot about the non-traditional students and the on-campus things. For high school students, can they actually, you mentioned dual enrollment. Tell me a bit about that.
Yes, Zip. So dual enrollment, student can be as young as 16 or sometimes even younger. We call it Attend College Early, the ACE program. We have 2 separate. Sometimes they can take dual classes, meaning they take classes at the high school and start counting for the high school graduation requirements as well as the college requirements, start earning college credits early. We also have students who can take college classes on our QCC campus, whether the Worcester campus or the Southbridge campus. And they can take classes for college credits like English or math or sciences or history, humanity classes, and also count that towards the high school senior year completion or sophomore year, and then start earning college credits early. So some of our students can already have dual enrollment starting the sophomore year. By the time they're finished, they can get almost 24 college credits. In their senior finishing high school, already have college credits, 24 credits, so they just need an additional more credits to get their associate degrees. So yeah, it's a great program. Some of the high school, they have to work with guidance counselors, so if you're interested in it, please contact your high school guidance counselor and say, I heard QCC have a dual enrollment. Some classes are held at the high school and other classes are held here at the main campus or the Southbridge campus.
Now, are those students as far as grades and performance, are they usually sort of at the head of the class, or does this apply to anybody who is just, that proactive as far as getting a jump start on their education?
Well, usually those students are more accelerated, or they're driven, they're ready for something, a new change, or they're academically mature and they want more out of just high school atmosphere. The one who want to come to college, they sometimes take a full load like any 18-year-old student. They're 16, but they're taking full load of college classes. They do have to take the college placement test for the ACE program. We also have concurrent enrollments where it's held by Christina Hebert, another director dealing with grants. And that one is usually a contract with the high school to help them with developmental math, but they get them on the way to the college level math the following year.
So, and again, not every high school is
every high school
connected.
Participated on this dual enrollment. We're looking for more partnerships under Christina Hebert. But in admissions, we handle the ACE program, Attend College Early, program where students actually are treated as a college student. They could take classes here on site at the main campus, Worcester West Boylston Street, or at the Southbridge campus.
Because I would imagine does that kind of, so in other words, they're completely off the high school campus and taking classes here and still getting credit back at their high school.
Correct.
While they're studying.
Yeah, they get, well, it's a partnership, and it's an agreement between our college and the high school for the students, or their parents might be interested in having the students earning college credits early and start with a really quality education, but a fraction of the price. Some high school students start early dual enrollment credits, 24 credits, and use that to transfer in or get accepted into other Ivy League universities.
Wow, it's amazing. Again, and it's indicative of the way QCC really it reaches out to the community and makes it so accessible for so many different kinds of students. Really, really terrific stuff. Tell me a bit about the campus tours. If somebody was interested, be it a high school student or a traditional student, or somebody re-entering the workforce and wanted to get into a certificate program, can they come and take a look at the school in action?
Yes, currently our campus tour is scheduled on our website through the admissions webpage. And our normal tours runs every Monday through Thursday at 3 p.m., Fridays at 11. Student who find those hours doesn't meet into the requirements, they can also email me directly, and I will try to fit into the request of their scheduled time. So some students say, oh, I can only come maybe at 5 due to my parents won't get off work, and I will try to find the staff to make sure they will meet them at that time and showcase our campus to them. I think it's very important to have campus tour. It gives the students a better perspective of what the layout of the campus, and also get an idea of the environment of the learning that they're going to be committing themselves on for the next 2 years when they're here. And we showcase all the departments, all the services, and all the buildings we have. We're trying to let them know each area, so kind of some mini orientation, but also at the same time you get a feel of the campus. And a lot of students walk away very impressed. They didn't realize we're almost like a little liberal arts college.
Sure.
With the multiple buildings we have here, the main West campus, West Boylston Street on the main campus of Worcester. We also have the downtown campus, that's per request. That's mostly healthcare and workforce development.
That's a fabulous building.
Yes.
Really. Yeah.
And in the Southbridge, it's more one-stop, and we do have staff there that students who are interested in taking classes there, they can always let the staff there know, and they can quickly orientate them and show them the classrooms and the services that's being held there.
So we've gotten through to a potential student, and they've decided they want to apply to school here. How do they go about it?
So to apply, they can apply online. And if the student are interested in coming to a program, we ask them to come through the admissions There is another avenue if I just want to be a guest student. They can just sign up for one class, get a tryout kind of thing, but you don't get financial aid if you're doing just individual classes. It's just like being a guest student paying out of pocket. You sign that up through the registrar registration, or you can see an advisor to see if you can select the right classes and then turn in the registration form. There's no high school documentation required for that process, but if the student thinking about a certificate, I want, for example, energy utility, or I want an auto tech, or I want hospitality, food, dietary management, the student would need to come through the admission process. We share to them the criteria and how we can help them reach the requirements for that and accept them.
And that would be a physical visit to the campus to do that?
They can do that by email as well. They can send us, my best advice to any new student is best to come in person. We are open Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Friday from 8 to 5. You get more information out when you come in person, and the email is like playing phone tags or email tags. You answer one question and they come back another question, another question, another question. So it's best to come in, just commit maybe 30 minutes of your time. We will get you to all the questions answered, and then any follow-up thereafter, we'll welcome you to come back. And in admissions, you don't need appointments. You can do walk-in Monday through Fridays.
Terrific. Again, Iko Abercrombie, thanks so much for being with us, and great work you guys are doing in your department, making it so easy for students to get started here at QCC. And again, for any information, the QCC website, right?
Yes,
basically.
QCC.edu for education, so QCC.edu. Thank you, Zip, for having me here today with you.
Well, my pleasure. We'll have you back in the very near future. That'll do it for this edition of Face the Region on Full Service Radio. Join us again at the same time next week here on Full Service Radio and on your local cable access channel. Till then, have a great week.
This has been Quinsigamond Community College's Face the Region. Join us again next weekend on AM 830 WCRN.